A woman will never walk up to you and say, "I want you. Make your move before I change my mind." That is not how attraction usually works. Instead, women communicate interest in a quieter and far more powerful way. They use signals that go beyond words. Signals that most men never notice. For centuries, women have relied on body language to express desire, curiosity, and attraction. When she is interested, she rarely announces it directly. She shows it. And if you fail to notice those signs, she will not keep repeating them. She will simply shift her attention to a man who understands what she is saying without words. This is not manipulation. It is human nature. Long before people mastered language, attraction was communicated through gestures, expressions, and movement. The men who understand this silent language rarely spend their time wondering if a woman likes them. They know. They see the signs as they happen and respond with confidence. Here is something that may surprise you. Studies published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that women often send several signals of attraction before a man notices even one. Several. That means by the time you begin wondering whether she likes you, she may have been showing interest for quite a while. The signals are not hidden. They are not impossible to see. They are happening right in front of you. The problem is that most men focus too much on what they will say next. They become obsessed with impressing her through words and completely miss the conversation her body is already having with them. And one of the most revealing parts of that conversation comes from her hands. Not her eyes. Not her smile. Her hands. Because hands are difficult to control consciously. A face can fake politeness. A voice can fake excitement. But hands often reveal what is happening beneath the surface. You can force eye contact. You can practice confident posture. But your hands respond from a deeper level of the mind, a level that reacts before logic has time to interfere. That is why they are so honest. That is why they are so revealing. And that is why understanding them gives you an advantage that most men never develop. Today, we will break down 8 hand gestures that often reveal when a woman has become attracted to you. 8 signals that many men ignore without realizing it. And once you learn them, you will start noticing them everywhere. At cafes. At work. On dates. In everyday conversations. The question is no longer whether she is interested. The question becomes whether you are prepared to recognize the moment and respond with confidence. By the end of this video, you will understand which gestures suggest attraction, which signals demand action, and which ones indicate that the opportunity may already be fading away. So stay with me until the end, because the 8th signal is the most important of all. It separates the men who recognize opportunity from the men who spend years wondering what went wrong. Now, let us begin. Signal number 1, the hair touch and neck reveal. This is one of the most common signs of attraction, and many women do it without realizing it. When a woman feels drawn to a man, her hand often moves toward her hair. But the important detail is not the touch itself. It is what happens after. She brushes her hair near her face or behind her ear, and then her hand slowly moves down toward her neck or collarbone. That slow movement matters. A woman who is simply fixing her hair will adjust it and move on. A woman who is attracted will often let her hand linger. She slows the gesture naturally, drawing attention to her neck, one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. From a psychological perspective, exposing the neck signals comfort and trust. Without saying a word, she is communicating. I feel safe around you. Researchers who spent thousands of hours observing social interactions found that hair touching combined with neck exposure was one of the strongest indicators of female attraction. That is not a coincidence. It is a pattern. So if her hand repeatedly rises to her hair and slowly drifts down to her neck while talking to you, do not dismiss it as nervous behavior. Pay attention. Because attraction often whispers before it ever speaks. And if you ignore that shift in energy, she may assume you are unaware or uninterested. When that happens, the opportunity begins to disappear. Not with drama. Not with a warning. But quietly. Signal number 3, the intentional touch. Physical touch is one of the strongest signals a woman can send. Why? Because touching someone means crossing a personal boundary. And people rarely cross that boundary without a reason. If she places her hand on your arm while laughing, do not assume it is random. If she touches your shoulder while making a point, do not dismiss it as simple excitement. She is testing something. She is watching how you respond. Do you lean in? Do you pull away? Do you stay calm and confident? Your reaction tells her whether she can move forward or whether she should pull back. A woman pays close attention to these moments. She knows that touch creates connection. That is why she uses it carefully. If she touches your arm once, pay attention. If she does it repeatedly, the message becomes much harder to ignore. And if you continue acting as if nothing happened, she may begin to assume you are either unaware or uninterested. The moment starts cooling down. Attraction rarely disappears all at once. It fades because opportunity goes unanswered. Signal number 4, the open palm display. This is one of the most overlooked signals of all. When a woman shows you her open palms while speaking, rests her hands openly on the table, or gestures toward you with relaxed hands, she is communicating something important. Trust. People hide their hands when they feel guarded. They cross their arms. They clench their fists. They keep their hands hidden. But open palms send a completely different message. They say, I am comfortable around you. I have nothing to hide. I feel safe here. For thousands of years, open hands signaled peaceful intentions. That instinct still exists today. When a woman naturally uses open palm gestures around you, she is opening herself emotionally as well. The most important part? She is usually not doing it consciously. Her body is speaking before her mind even realizes it. And signals that come from instinct are often the most honest. Signal number 5, the finger contact. Now we enter dangerous territory. Because when a woman finds reasons to touch your hand, attraction is no longer subtle. Maybe she compares hand sizes. Maybe she brushes her fingers against yours while handing you something. Maybe her hand lingers for a second longer than necessary. Whatever form it takes, the message is clear. Hands are powerful. A simple touch can create a strong emotional reaction because the hands contain thousands of sensitive nerve endings. That brief contact creates tension. It creates awareness. It creates connection. And this is where many men make a mistake. She creates the moment. Then he instantly pulls away. The connection disappears. The tension vanishes. The opportunity dies. Confidence is not forcing anything. Confidence is being comfortable in the moment. When her fingers touch yours, stay relaxed. Do not panic. Do not rush. Allow the moment to exist naturally. A man who can remain calm during intimacy signals strength. And strength is attractive. Signal number 6, the wrist exposure. The wrist is one of the most vulnerable areas of the human body. The skin is thin. The veins are visible. Instinctively, people protect it. That is why wrist exposure is so revealing. When a woman rests her wrist openly toward you, adjusts a bracelet while keeping her wrist visible, or positions her hand so that the inside of her wrist faces you, she is displaying trust. Not through words. Through instinct. Deep down, attraction lowers defenses. It makes people feel comfortable exposing parts of themselves they normally protect. That is what makes this signal powerful. It is difficult to fake because it comes from a place beyond conscious thought. When you notice it, understand what it represents. Comfort. Trust. openness. And those qualities rarely appear without attraction playing a role. Signal number 7, the mirrored touch. This signal separates interest from genuine mutual connection. Imagine you lightly touch her arm during conversation. A few moments later, she touches your arm in a similar way. That is not coincidence. That is mirroring. If you brush her shoulder and she naturally leans into the contact instead of away from it, that is mirroring too. Mirroring is one of the strongest signs of rapport. It tells you she is not merely accepting your presence. She is participating in the connection. She is matching your energy. She is saying, keep going. Most men never notice this. They focus only on what they are doing. Smart men pay attention to how she responds. Because her response contains all the information they need. Signal number 8, the sustained contact. This is the strongest signal on the entire list. Because it moves beyond testing. It moves into intention. If a woman places her hand on your arm, your shoulder, your back, or somewhere near you and leaves it there, she is making a deliberate choice. A brief touch can happen by accident. Sustained contact cannot. It requires intention. It requires comfort. It requires trust. And most importantly, it requires desire to maintain connection. When she keeps that physical connection alive, she is no longer asking whether there is chemistry. She already knows. The barrier between casual interaction and something deeper has begun to disappear. But here is the lesson most men learn too late. These signals do not last forever. A woman will not keep sending them endlessly. Every signal has an expiration date. Every opportunity has a window. And the men who understand attraction are not the men who chase endlessly. They are the men who recognize the signal, understand the message, and act with calm confidence before the window quietly closes. A woman will not send these signals forever. She will test the situation once. Then again. Maybe one more time. But if she receives nothing in return, no awareness, no confidence, no response, she will slowly pull back every signal she was giving. Just like a fisherman pulling a line back into the boat. And once those signals disappear, they rarely return. I have seen this happen countless times. A woman gives clear opportunities through her body language, yet the man remains frozen by doubt or completely unaware of what is happening. Eventually, she closes herself off. Her hands return to her lap. Her body turns away. Her attention shifts elsewhere. Maybe she reaches for her phone. Maybe she starts looking around the room. And 10 minutes later, the man is left wondering why everything suddenly feels different. The answer is simple. The energy changed because she showed him the path, and he never took a single step down it. The opportunity was there. He simply failed to recognize it. And make no mistake. The window is real. The moment she sends the first signal, time begins moving. Respond with confidence. Respond with warmth. Respond with presence. And that window stays open. Wait too long, and it closes. Not dramatically. Not with a loud warning. Just a quiet click. And that quiet click is dangerous because most men never hear it. They only notice it after the opportunity has already disappeared. Now you understand the signals. The hand moving from the hair to the neck. The fingers tracing objects. The intentional arm touch. The open palms. The finger contact. The exposed wrist. The mirrored touch. And finally, the sustained hand placement. Each of these gestures communicates the same message without a single word being spoken. I am open to you. I trust you. I want you to notice. The question is no longer whether she is interested. The question is whether you have the awareness to recognize it. Because attraction is not won through endless talking. It is understood through observation. The most powerful men are not the men who speak the most. They are the men who notice what others ignore. They read the room. They read people. And they respond at the right moment. That is where influence begins. That is where attraction grows. Not in words. In action. A touch returned. A hand held a little longer. A confident response that silently says, "I understood your message." And that changes everything. If you watched until the end, leave a comment saying, "I watched till the end." I want to know who is serious about understanding human behavior instead of guessing. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do. Every video on this channel is designed to help you understand the hidden patterns of attraction, influence, power, and communication that most people go through life without ever noticing. One final thought. Most people talk about 6 signals. Some talk about 7. Today, I gave you 8. And that 8th signal, sustained hand placement, is the one that matters most. Because it removes uncertainty. It separates casual friendliness from genuine interest. It is the signal that says the decision has already been made. The opportunity is already there. All that remains is whether you have the awareness to recognize it and the confidence to act. Remember this. Life rewards decisive men. Not reckless men. Not desperate men. Decisive men. The ones who see clearly, understand the moment, and move with confidence while everyone else is still wondering what the signs meant. Now take what you have learned and use it wisely. I will see you in the next video.